Let's get ready to talk about nothing and think about everything. Let's get ready to go on a 21-day cleanse with Dr. Alejandro and have a shake for breakfast, a shake for dinner, and a reasonable lunch in the middle, which is what I'm doing right now, and I have not felt better in 46 years. Let's get ready to get a dog that's so fucking old that it has eye boogers you have to wipe away every day and put it on ointment in the eye, and you have to take it to the fucking vet every 2 weeks because it has a goddamn rash. Let's put that fucking dog in the trash. Let's get ready to start a clothing company, a t-shirt company 10 years ago, and then have it matriculate into a sports-related, multinational, nationwide phenomenon known to break the entire back of the fashion industry and the apparel business all at once, called Born and Raised. Let's get ready to take a nap. Today we have a guest. Are you going to cut that whole thing out? It could have been the best bit in the world. It could have been the worst. Nobody knows. You sure as hell don't know. Okay, I'm going to need you. First of all, I have to see how much. This is a great. Okay, for the first time, I will say this. In an attempt to keep the show moving, Jason likes to place items on the table to give me something to talk about because he thinks I'm an infant and I can't figure out how to put words into the brain that goes downstairs into the mouth and out to you. So what he does is he places different items on the table. This time, and I hate it every time. This time though, I think he's trying to make me happy because he finally found this is my comfort zone right here. There's a praying skeleton, sick. I'm with this. A big ass crystal, which I like crystals. Really? Yeah, it's like rocks. You know that they're studying that like rocks are somehow there is some sort of sentient quality to crystals. Crystals are like self-forming, right? They form. They quote unquote grow. There is some sentient nature to rocks themselves in some way. We don't know how the universe works, man. Nobody knows how anything works. And I'm gonna tell you, my guest today, he's gonna have a lot of theories on how things work. I've known this man a very long time. We're crewmates. That means we're in the same crew. I haven't seen him in years. And I thought in the nature, people are like, we want to talk to more writers. And I know a lot of graffiti writers. The thing is, I can't have them all at my house. I can't blow up the spot. But I'll have a couple over here and there. And this guy, this is a very special individual. His name is Saber One. And at one point, he did the largest piece in the world in the LA River. Are you aware of this piece, Jason? Did you do any research on Saber?
Yeah. We have to talk. We have to make him tell that story.
I listen, I'll tell you, I'll save it for the pod, but we were all present during that happening. And I will say this, I'll preface this and say, Saber is one of the craziest people you're ever going to talk to. And you'll see why, because he's a maniac. And, but he is a person who gave his mind, body, and soul over to the pursuit of graffiti. And a lot of us have done it with varying results. Some guys end up wearing top hats and driving around Bugattis and parading around their Botox girlfriends with a Fendi backpack. And some of us just end up addicted to crack and fentanyl, huffing Rust-Oleum in the back of an old apartment. Who's who? Nobody knows. But I'll tell you this. I got out at a certain point because I couldn't do it all. I couldn't be good at graffiti, and also like for me personally, I wasn't like, this is why I never fully committed to making music, because you got my giant leg in the shot? I don't want that. Can you put a big square here over this? Fuck the Discord. Discord gets to see everything. This is for the non-Discordians. Shout out to my Discordians. They know what's good. They are with us at every step of the way. And I feel like with Discord, I'll get back to the thought I'll get back to that tangent. I'll come back. Let me put a pin in that tangent. But I will say that with the Discord, here's how I feel about you guys. You guys are here. I feel like you guys are with me. And you're along for the ride. Wherever it is going, you are there. Not fair weather YouTube watchers and Apple audio listeners or Spotify or whatever other vehicle you use to listen to the show. Not those people. I'm talking about the people that are in the Discord, talking about recipes, talking about their exercise schedules, talking about getting roasted, Roast me. There's a roast me page in there. You want to get fucking roasted? Jump in the Discord. We'll fucking rip your face off. They're talking about, I don't know. They're just talking about music. Andrew Rushing's in there just going ham. I get the idea that Andrew, I think that he's like high output for a good amount of time, and then he's going to burn out because he has such high output. I love seeing his interactions. And then last time this happened, he burnt out and he left. And he left for a couple months. Now he's back. He's dropping shit. Like, he's got a lot to say. He obviously has a cavernous mind, probably cluttered, probably full of some good stuff. The trick with having a cavernous maze-like brain is you have to figure out how to navigate that motherfucker, because it can lead you astray, and you can get up in the morning to work on the great American novel, and then you can end up the whole day Googling butterfly colors and figuring out where to buy mean streaks or where glow sticks are made of, instead of working on this beautiful novel you're working on, whoever you are. Anyway, so back to graffiti. Listen, graffiti. There was a point where I did give my life over. I said, this is what I'm going to do. And in my mind, I was going to do it forever. I saw myself rolling through life. I saw myself moving through life I saw a few paths. I saw myself doing graffiti, and I saw myself at one point. We all have this idea when we're children, okay? We have this idea that adulthood is this thing that one day it's a threshold you cross into, and all of a sudden you have a white picket fence. I don't know what the idea of adulthood is now, because I'm too old to tell kids what adulthood is. But when I was a young person, my idea of adulthood was this threshold this threshold I would cross. And on the other side, there would be a house with a white picket fence, a family, a job of some sort. Vaguely, I'd have some sort of job, and I would have kids. And it's just like one day that would happen. The reality is that doesn't happen, especially more nowadays. It really doesn't happen so much anymore. And I also thought like one day I would just like completely be absolved from graffiti, and I would be this like square guy who went and had a job fucking counting cell phone towers in Alaska, or I don't know, just creating spoons for spoon vendors. I don't fucking know. You always think that you're gonna, I'm gonna have a job working at the newspaper or the IRS, and I'm gonna be like, my name's fucking Chip Bailey, and I have a suitcase and I have a tie, and I'm gonna go home and fuck my wife, and I'm gonna go to work, and it's gonna be great, and I'm gonna have a whiskey once in a while. That didn't work. That didn't happen for me. It didn't happen for a lot of us.
You're talking about a sudden moment of clarity.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this imaginary threshold that you think as a child you will cross into to become an adult. The reality is you have to create that life. It doesn't get handed to you. You don't just get to become one day an adult and have a home and have a car and have 2 golden retrievers and have a reverse mortgage and have an old microwave that's probably leaking out radiation and have a wife that secretly hates you and tells you to go fuck yourself in your sleep. You think you're going to get all that, but you don't know that you have to build and create that. And you think as a child that it's going to happen. So I thought as a child there would be this imaginary threshold one day where graffiti would stop being a part of my life, and I would now be, Donnie Dickface going to work my 9 to 5 at my corporate, helmet factory, whatever the fuck, right? Because I also at the time as a graffiti writer, when I was a graffiti writer, I had no concept of a future for myself. I was pretty sure at that time that 30 was my expiration date. Pretty sure I was like, I'll probably tap out 28, 29, 30. I'll be dead. I'll have done this stuff. So I was fully engaged with doing graffiti, and badly for a very long time. I don't think I even honestly got good at graffiti till like the very end. And I don't even know how I got good in relation to the dudes. Like I got good on the scale of like, if you took all the graffiti writers on the planet, put them in a room, I'd be good at it. If you took the subsection of my crew, I definitely am not top dog in my crew. Okay, just gonna say that. The funny thing about the guys in my crew is they always, when I say that to them, they go, dude, no, you're a king. And I go, no, I'm not. I wasn't that good. I was pretty good. I was good enough to be in one of the best crews in the world at that time. But I know what the fuck I am. I know what the fuck I am. I know what I am. What, do you think I'm crazy? Listen, I gave everything I had to this thing, and I wanted to be really good at it. And I learned some serious life lessons along the way. Number one, the first life lesson is this: building blocks, motherfucker. Okay, I wanted to go right out because at the time when I was coming up, it was all about burners. I mean, bombing was present, of course. That shit's kind of faded away. People don't paint like that so much anymore. Saber's here, everybody. People don't paint like that so much anymore. You want to go get them? Yeah. Okay. People don't. I think people are more focused now on like the fundamentals of graffiti, which I love, which is like bombing, throw up, simple letters, etc., etc. Destruction. At least where I'm at. But in my day, I wanted to paint burners like all my buddies. And I just go out the gate and tried to do a burner, and like I didn't really understand that like it's building blocks. You gotta crawl first, motherfucker. You gotta take your time. You gotta start, I should have started just like the best thing you could ever do as a graffiti writer, if you're a new toy, just redraw fonts. Just find a font and redraw it. Just crawl, baby. Anyways, we'll get more into that with our illustrious guest. His name's Saber One. What's up, Saber? Dude.
Really hard.
Thanks, man.
Looks good. No, my voice goes in and out because I got this fucking machine in me now.
You do?
That zaps my throat as I
for the seizures?
Yeah. So it took my voice away. So I got this like cool old man, like smoker voice now.
It's kind of cool.
So it goes in and out. And I got this like zapper thing that I can wave it over.
No.
But I might like start freaking out if I do it because of fuck it. Because this shit like zaps the fuck out of me. Because that's all electricity going through my fucking throat.
What?
Straight cyborg. Nice.
So you have an implant in your chest.
I have an implant. Mm-hmm.
And you have a little fob, and you wave it in front of your chest, and it zaps you.
It's like it's supposed to be a fake watch. It's just a heavy ass magnet.
What? And so when your voice goes out, you give it a little kickstart.
Well, that's if I'm like fishing out, but it goes off every minute. It goes off, zaps me every like 30 seconds.
This is a new technology.
No, it's been around for a long time. This is the new one. Wow. This is the one that I can like link up to satellites and shit. And, like,
oh yeah.
This one links me up to an iPad. Like I am as a human being officially linked up to like
your stats and all your information.
A device.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can monitor it.
It's weird.
And the feds can watch you.
They know when I'm having a seizure.
You're right. The paramedics, right? They come get you.
No, she has to call if I'm fishing out.
Right. Fuck. When's the last time you had a seizure?
I had a bad one last week. Really bad one last week.
Oh no.
Yeah, I have them quite frequently, but this has helped. See, and the voice comes back. See, now I'm not getting zapped.
Now you're normal.
I'm a little better.
So the zapping makes you get raspy.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's weird, right? I like it. I like it.
Yeah, of course you do.
I'm not like complaining about it. I got this dope new voice, bro. I'm like, what's up, guys?
What's up, guys? I'm a leathery old writer.
I try to like sing with my kids. I'm like,
even flow.
They've been doing now. Yeah. No, they've been rickrolling me now. I've been being. I don't know anything about fucking rickrolled. I've been rickrolled now like 10,000 times in the last month.
Yeah. How old are your kids?
11 and 8.
Oh yeah, they're at that age where they start to think they're funny.
Bro, I'm exhausted right now.
You guys are not funny yet. Keep working at it. You'll get there. They're like Rickroll. You're like, you only Rickrolled me 30 times. It ain't gonna work.
My kids got me on check like completely.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah. You're smart. You had kids early. If I have kids, I'm gonna be fucking.
You'll be an old ass man.
Yeah, I'm gonna be chasing them around in a wheelchair.
Yeah, and you'll be that dude at the park.
Yeah. That one guy that you guys are like, look at this fucker. He fucked up. It's like the old guy. They're like, okay, grandpa. You're like, no, this is my child.
That's my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. But
yeah.
Hey, whatever happens. I mean,
Yeah, whatever, that's the way things are going now.
I mean, you can get snipped and just blast off all you want, and then you don't have to worry about anything.
I could get snipped, but I think my girl wants to have some kids. I might knock out some babies.
Well, then you better start tonight.
I know.
You old
That's
ass
what I'm saying.
motherfucker.
I know.
Oh my god.
Larry King had one when he was like 7.
Yeah, Larry King's got a fucking shitload of money.
Yeah, but he's rich as fuck, and he can have people do everything.
He can hire people to abuse his kids for him.
Yeah.
You have someone else do it. That's when you're really rich. You hire a man to abuse your children. You don't
vet them.
Yeah. You go. You destroy my kids' psyches. So Saber One, the almighty MSK AWR Graffiti crew. Are you in any other crews?
I just recently got inducted into LOD,
You did?
Lokes on motherfucking dope.
Was that like a childhood dream?
Yes.
Was it before?
It really was,
before
actually.
Sleaze died.
Before all that, and it was. I mean, it was recently. It was via donor and oil.
Oh wow, oil.
And oil
Holy
came to my
shit.
house. I met oil. Like
You didn't meet oil before?
I met him once walking through downtown LA, and we just randomly walked into each other, and we were like, "You're oil.
Yeah.
I'm Saber."
Yeah.
And it was like, "What's up?" And that was
Oiler.
it.
For people that don't understand oil when we were coming up was a fucking legendary Heavens
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Oiler ran Heaven. He had it unlocked for like a year, right?
Yeah.
All Heavens.
Yeah.
Like he kind of inspired GK.
Yeah.
And like a lot of guys to like, Oilers.
Well, then GK got into IFK.
You got an IFK, yeah.
I didn't. I was a little like.
Yeah, but you weren't as prolifically on freeways
Not on
as him.
freeway- not as
You're not
much.
the freeway guy. You did
No.
other things, which we'll
No.
get into.
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. You know what's funny? When I met, when I first met Doom, like I don't know, could have been 20 years ago.
Right.
I was like, what's up with me in BC? And he's like, like he just, he's kind of like, whatever, he's like, the crew's closed, because that was my dream as a
Yeah.
kid. It was like, I came up looking at BC and like as a little kid going to like, just seeing huge BC letters and all this shit and
Yeah.
being like, fuck, BC's a shit. And then I got out of Venice and I was like, oh, there's other crews too.
Yeah.
But BC was my like, that would have been my LOD,
Yeah.
LOD is hard though. Chaka and fucking and Sleaze. I mean, Sleaze is legendary. Rest in peace.
Lokes on dope was.
Yeah,
like,
Lokes on dope.
I was a little kid. That was like, oh my god, those are like mysterious like warlords of some sort.
Yeah, for sure. Like you admire these dudes coming up, right?
Yeah.
I remember like it's funny. What did Mite say? Mite said, Mite. I remember he said this thing about like he goes, when you paint, do you ever just feel like you're painting just for Charlie?
Oh, I got a good one about Charlie recently.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I've got to hear that.
Charlie.
Will you give me a water, please? And you want an apple? You want an apple? Can you have an apple?
No, probably not. We're gonna have her right here.
I don't want to
Just
disrupt anything.
splatter the microphone.
Fuck.
Apple.
Oh, we're good. I don't know what we're gonna feed you. What do you feed a fucking cyborg?
Oh man.
Do you want some data? Can I feed you some JPEGs?
some JPEGs?
I have some Photoshop files I can just jam in your mouth.
I just smoke an eighth a day and like a pot.
Oh, you're still smoking a lot of weed.
I smoked way too much fucking weed.
And what does the doctor say about that in your condition?
I mean, we don't really talk about anything. They're just like you're lucky to be alive, motherfucker.
Oh,
So
really?
they're happy to see me.
Is this stemming from the head injury?
It's stemming from that, and then just the way I treated myself, and especially with the paint.
You think the paint added to it?
I know it did.
The xylene?
It was that, and I think just the amount of aluminum that was in my
The
system
amount of aluminum.
was so off the charts that they had to get a secondary sheet of paper
No.
just for the aluminum that went completely off the grid.
No.
And that was 10 years before I even had a seizure.
No.
Yeah. So it was bad
Holy
already.
shit.
It was already bad. Yeah.
Fuck, I didn't think. I remember as a kid being like, this can't be good.
No. There were a
And
lot of times where I got sick.
Yeah, and from just too much paint.
Too much paint, and I got blood poisoning from
paint.
From paint.
And you never
Inhalation poisoning.
when you were like what in the middle of your graffiti
15.
career. See, this is the thing.
13, 12.
Fuck the apple for now. I'll leave the apple.
Oh, you want Two-Tone wants me to eat an apple.
No, I don't want you. No, for me, I want an apple, but I'm gonna let it go. I'm not gonna crunch right now. This is too interesting. Okay, so here's the thing about you and other writers. GK, right? This is the thing. You get hit with 15 years old. You're overdosing on aluminum. Okay, this is 15. This is like you're still a fucking toy, right?
Yeah.
You're still learning, and you're already have aluminum poisoning.
Yes.
And you're your best thinking, right? Like most graffiti writers is like, got to keep going. By
keep
all
going.
means. No matter what, you
Keep
cannot
going.
stop. Right. What the fuck is that? Why do we like what do you think makes a graffiti writer get so obsessed with graffiti that he has to win the unwinnable game?
All right, let me put this little magnet back in my pants. And let's cover this completely disaster of a fucking... Okay, we're getting into some deep shit here.
Yeah, dude.
Okay,
Let's
so-
talk about it.
All right, you have alternatives. That is what bad are you going to get into? So at that age, it's
Oh, so you had to be a delinquent.
no,
So you
no,
had
no.
to-
It was already, you were already delinquents.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So you're going bad. So you got to pick a lane.
So you got to pick a lane.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, yeah.
We're picking a lane. And
Right.
then it was like
right.
gang banging.
Right.
I was coming from skateboarding.
Right.
That led to drugs.
Right.
That led to then all that other shit. And I wasn't really that into sports.
Right.
So I was already emotionally completely destroyed as a human being
Right.
at that point,
Right.
which I had no idea
Why do you
how
think why?
fucked up psychologically I was.
What fucked your head up so early?
I mean, that's straight to the source questions,
Yeah.
but like, I went through some really ugly shit as a kid.
Yeah, same.
Like,
Yeah.
I got I was molested like really by a
Right.
fucking psychopath
Right.
who killed himself, by the way, which is great because I know that he at least took a leap knowing what he did to me. And so that gives me
He jumped.
solace knowing that the motherfucker's dead.
It's kind of satisfying.
That's good because I had plans, you know what I'm saying? Especially
right.
as I got more beastly, I was like, I'm gonna
gonna
catch
go
this
back.
motherfucker
Yeah.
slipping,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna make it happen, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna hurt this fool.
Yeah.
And so that was good. But when it comes down to graffiti, that's who Saber was. Was that kid
The fucked up kid who needed to prove something.
who needed to prove something
Yep.
that was too dysfunctional to go the normal lanes.
Yeah.
That was already obsessed, that was very talented, that was already introduced to art through my parents and through skateboarding and through, I knew I wanted to make art early.
Yeah.
So I didn't choose it. It was like, it's what made me feel right.
Yeah.
So the ultimate artist at that point to me, once I saw graffiti, was like, this is the ultimate artist.
Yeah.
When you look at all the artists in history and you look at them in their time frame and you say, okay, that you have all these greats, but then you have this lost generation in this most modern time where we're the first generation that's the last, that's basically the first connected to the internet, the first connected to a digital source, the first connected to a oneness that the rest of the world was so isolated before. So I would consider us the last generation because we're the first generation before the internet.
They got hooked up. Yeah.
Okay.
We existed pre-World Wide Web.
So by the time I was a teenager, the
Right.
internet was like available.
Right.
So our minds, I think in many ways, were already so polluted by just living in the environments of the time that we're living in.
Right.
And that graffiti was, to me, so mysterious, so powerful, so robotic, so futuristic, so cool, so dangerous. And it was this mysterious language that almost led you to this like belief system of it's connected to this source of some sort or this language. And how do you describe wild style to a kid that sees it for the first time?
Right.
Like, how do you describe a real fucking burner to somebody that discovers it for the first time?
Right.
Now, graffiti is perfect for the kid who eventually wants to blow their fucking brains out or become a fucking shaman.
Right.
Either way, it can lead you to all paths. Graffiti
Right.
is the ultimate source in the sense that it's connected to so many different elements that if you're a good person and you want to do graffiti and you want to be productive, you can go do that. If you want to be a fucking delinquent and a complete piece of shit and a real fucking nasty motherfucker, but without actually really hurting somebody
Yeah.
and still be cool and productive,
Right.
you can do that.
Right.
If you want to have a complete mental breakdown and kill yourself,
Yeah.
you can do that.
Yeah. You can do that in any occupation.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, you listen. You had this drive.
Right.
Like a lot of people. You know, the thing that people don't understand is that people that do great things are often driven by things that tore them up. Right.
Yes.
And in order to have that crazy like that do or die mentality where you keep pushing past the point of failure and defeat, you keep going, you got to have there's a certain kind of brain. It's not someone that's happy with themselves that does that.
Right.
The thing is though, some people apply it towards like, like if you talk about, if you were to take it into lightness and darkness, I think graffiti is probably, somewhere a little left of the middle, right? It's a little dark. It's not the worst thing you can do. It's not light. And, on the light side would be like becoming a pro surfer, fucking Tom Brady. I don't fucking know.
Right.
Like becoming a musician or becoming a fine artist who's like painting canvas, whatever it is.
Right.
Like that's on the other spectrum. The graffiti thing is like, it's interesting because you were in and you're like, this is it. This is how I can find, because the thing about graffiti too is that you get to earn respect from a community of men, right?
Right.
There's a few women, but very few.
Right.
You get to earn respect from the community of artists, right?
So you get that group consensus mentality where you understand like these club,
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
which is important.
It's a fucking point system. It's not like there is no like, look, there's a point system, and the way that you can destroy there's a way to fucking cheat the whole game by just becoming prolific. You can be a fucking toy, but if you're up everywhere, everyone's got to go, fuck, he's up.
He's up.
You can't
he's
say
insane.
shit.
He's obviously an obsessive compulsive maniac who won't stop.
Yeah. So that's the way you can beat the system. You can't, you can't be a toy fucking football player and like just show up every day. It ain't gonna work.
Right, but if you have every single Del Taco scribe bathroom, then it's like, okay, I'm cool with the kid,
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah. Speaking of, what's your deep cut graffiti? Like I'm talking like Finn urinal scribes. Remember those?
Yes.
Remember he had every urinal from every Denny's you ever went into. There would be a Finn on the urinal. There probably are still some there.
Yes.
And he since is like it wants nothing to do with graffiti.
Right.
Like legendary graffiti writer, in my opinion. It doesn't want anything to do with it.
He had a weak bladder, and he decided to make use of the time of taking a leak.
But he was out and about in the city. Is there any like deep cut writers where you're like, fuck that dude was the king of such and such?
Oh God, that's a tough one because it's such a wide spectrum, and my memory's really foggy right now.
Your memory's foggy, okay.
As far as specifics, how I can trigger memory is definitely talking about stories.
Well,
what was prolific? Just dreads. Those were very prolific.
Just dreads were prolific. Yeah.
Fuck. Jero pulled a shotgun on us once at the MYL meeting.
Jero did?
Yeah, I was trying to. Yeah.
What's NYL?
That was before
the whole ICR AWR link up, right?
Yeah.
That was like that. There was
pre that.
You remember that whole thing? Remember there was like this weird thing where like we just like the two crews just like connected.
Yeah.
And then we're like, now we're like one crew. It was like, what the fuck was that? That was.
I got some gnarly stories.
I know you do, dude.
And I don't know if we should get into some of them because it might implicate some people into some bad things.
We can't snitch on anybody. And I'm almost like, can I talk freely about shit?
What can we talk freely? That's why we're a little like.
No, we can talk about anything. We just can't say names. We can't paint any crimes on anybody.
But we don't want to paint such a bad picture.
It's not a bad picture.
Things that we did.
It wasn't a bad picture, but it was. But listen, it was part of the deal. There was a crime. There was a criminal element. Not as bad as some. We weren't driving around shooting people. But like there was an element.
Well, who are you? Depends on who you're talking to.
Okay, some people were.
I mean,
you and I were not.
No, but I saw some things, and
you saw. I know you saw a lot of shit. You saw a lot. There's so many things. Listen. This is perfect.
I had a drive-by at my house in Thousand Oaks that made the front page news, and that was ICR meets old crew in 805. And I threw a party, and Casey and everyone else found out about it and drove to 805 with ICR, and I was banging some girl in my mom's closet, and I was too afraid of what was going on in the living room in 805. And then all of a sudden I heard all this ruckus, and then Casey and ICR were beating the fuck out of my old friends.
Wait, it was guys from your old crew had beef with ICR.
They didn't even know what ICR was. They were 805. This was like the one link with Bless and I.
Wait,
and our weird little crew.
That crew was what was that?
It was called JR23 or some weird shit. I don't even remember what it stood for.
And why were they beefing with ICR?
They didn't. They just showed up to my house.
Who, the crew did?
The crew and Casey and them showed up to the house.
Right.
Finding out that my parents were out of town.
They're like, hey, Saber, hey, full Saber spare
like,
try time.
yeah. This fool is, hey, go to, we're going at 8:05 tonight. Let's
Right.
go, everyone go.
Right.
So all these maniacs showed up to my house that I looked up to, so I couldn't say no to any of these guys.
But you're already in the crew at this point, right?
not yet.
Oh, this is before. Really?
Yeah, it was like right then. It was like right when I had to make.
But
a decision.
Casey was already hanging out with them before you got in?
Yeah, 'cause he knew ICR. He knew.
Oh, okay. Weird. I guess
Yeah.
my timeline might be fucked up too. One of us has got a foggy timeline, and I could be just.
Well,
as
we both
guilty.
have reasons why we have foggy timelines.
True.
So I heard all this ruckus,
Yeah.
and they were just beating the fuck out of these kids.
Yeah.
So I tried to separate it, and then they ran off, and then an hour later came back, and then jumped out their car and just started shooting at my house. And shot Keen in the foot.
Oh, that's right. I remember
And
that.
then Keen got shot in the foot, but he had steel toes on, so it bounced off his foot and like broke his toe. So of course this is 8:05. So every single sheriff and fucking cop was at my house within 2 minutes, including the news. So they had to sort all this shit out, and then
But Keen wasn't from ICR at that point, right?
yeah, he was like, I guess, I don't know, UFK, ICR. That, I mean,
Holy shit.
Yeah,
We need
he-
a fact checker. We need a graffiti fact
Yeah.
checker to come on here. And
I mean, this was like,
our
dude,
shit, we're gonna get in fucking trouble with this shit.
oh my god. So my parents were out of town.
Yeah.
My house was destroyed. There was a shooting at my house.
That's crazy.
My old friends now wanted to kill me.
Right. Because they thought you set them up, of course.
Something like that.
It definitely looks that way.
And then ICR, someone from ICR got shot in the foot. So my parents come home from vacation.
Oh
I
my
clean
God.
the house.
They're like, we're in the fucking suburbs. We're trying not to see this
So
shit.
I didn't know what to do. So all I could do was just leave the front page of news just on the table for my parents.
That's how you broke it to them.
I didn't have any other way. So I couldn't hide it.
Oh
you know?
my
So-
God, dude.
So I just left the newspaper on the living room table and just went into my bedroom and closed the door when I came home. And
How old were you at that point? Still a teenager?
by 16.
Oh my God, dude. Listen, guys, don't raise your kids in the suburbs. It's not safe. The burbs are not safe.
my God.
They get into the most trouble. Suburban
my
kids
God.
are so fucking nuts. They're so crazy. Like, we have a normal level of crazy in the city, but suburban kids are extra because they're like, they go fucking crazy. They go in these directions. They start like, it's like there's no, I don't know how to explain it. Like, they don't, it's not,
Well, we're
it's,
trying too hard and we're a little bored.
and it's like you don't know the rules, so they're making shit up as they go along, like about what street life
Right.
is, and they're just going crazy. And they're like, "Dude, they just cut this kid's toe off. Nobody does that." You know,
Right.
like just like what the fuck is going on? Like they're on some other shit. You know, like don't grow up in the suburbs. If you're in the suburbs, move into the shittiest part of the city as soon as you can to see the reality of it.
Yeah.
Don't make your own. Don't make it up as you go along, everybody. Okay.
Oh, fuck. So I got in trouble.
Yeah, I can imagine. And then what?
So I just went with it.
Fuck.
What do they do to you?
Well, then the guys were like, we're going to kill you.
Yeah.
So I just said sorry as much as I could.
So this is okay. I understand what this is. This is
and then somebody came to my house. A group of guys a week later came to my house during a dinner
Yeah.
and kicked in my front door. So my mom's answering the door and they
No.
kicked down the whole front door like a
No.
fucking SWAT team. And it was some other dudes. I don't even know who the fuck they were.
You just brought so much beef.
And
to
I
your
just
fucking
came
house.
home and I was like, what happened? And they're like, all these crazy guys showed up and kicked in your door. And I was like,
They're like, what
I don't
is
even
my
know
son
who
doing?
they are. I
And
don't
you're
even
like,
know-
Mom, I'm just getting started. I'm only 16.
Oh, I just was getting
I'm
started.
just figuring it out right now. Like
I'm lucky to be alive at this point. I've already killed all 9 lives. Like, easily.
another thing. We're like, okay, I'm getting into this thing called graffiti. My house got shot up. They kicked open my front door during dinner. Most
Yeah.
people go, I'm good.
Yeah.
No. You're like, no, let's go harder.
Let's
And
go
then
harder.
You're not even. You're in that period. There's a terrible thing when you're a young writer before you get in a crew, especially a young teenage writer. Well, at least was for our crew, where you get hazed and dogged out so fucking much.
Yeah.
They just like young guys coming around back then would get fucked with. Like they just terrorize you guys.
Yeah.
And the weak dudes would fucking bow out and not make it. And the dudes that held on, the psychos like
my
Saber,
God.
would hold on and be like, okay, I'm gonna keep my boots on this
mean-
motherfucker and stomp around a bit.
Well, I did get stomped around a bit,
Right.
and that's kind of where it
But that was
starts.
that was your own friends. That wasn't
They set me up.
that wasn't but that wasn't us.
No, it wasn't you.
Yeah.
It wasn't you guys.
No.
You guys were a lot nicer.
Yeah. Your friends set you up to jump you as like a joke, or
It's like a joke, but they didn't realize. I guess they just wanted to.
they went too far?
Yeah.
Well, I remember being that age when this is the thing about being with a pack of young men.
Yeah.
Like it gets weird because you get into this thing where you're like, and like, you're like, there's like 10, 15-year-old, like 10 fucking 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 18-year, like it's no good. Like,
Right.
because you just start doing, and like all of a sudden you'll be doing something, and something will happen, and all of a sudden you're like, and they just start beating somebody, and like everyone gets all excited,
into a
and
frenzy.
fucking horny, and like, I'm gonna kill him, like
Yeah.
all that weird testosterone just flares up, and like
Yeah.
there is a thing. I think toxic masculinity is real because
For
motherfuckers-
sure.
you're a victim
Thrived
of it.
on it.
Right.
You know? It was like you had to learn how to operate it in a
Yeah.
toxic.
All that testosterone, man. It's just like, and also you don't know how to navigate it. You don't know where.
No.
What does these feel? And so it's like
I hadn't even busted a real nut at that point.
You hadn't busted a nut yet. And then these guys, what happened with the head injury?
Well, I got beat really bad that
Right,
night.
right.
So basically, I almost lost my left eye. Almost popped,
Yeah.
which was the really bad injury. And then, I guess I got my brain was bleeding or some shit.
Yeah.
So I
Your
just
brain
remember
hemorrhage.
waking up in the ER.
They booted you in the head.
Just 7 people just kept kicking me,
Right.
until I just didn't move anymore.
Right. Right.
Really, that's how it kind of went down.
Yeah.
And then
It's
I
like
had to
that-
make up a lie too on the spot. So, because all the sheriffs came, they were like, "Dude, we got to figure this one out."
Yeah.
You know, so I had to come up with some crazy lie about who did it to me. So
Right.
there was these other idiots. So I was like, that I didn't like. So I was like, these guys did it.
Right. You couldn't give up your
know?
friends because they didn't
No.
do it on purpose.
No.
They got carried away with the bloodlust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's real too.
Yeah. No, that's
Because
real.
like there's been many times where, like now looking back, like I didn't realize how toxic I was at that point.
Yeah.
As far as like how to deal with issues, and definitely having kids was the one thing that's put me in check as
Yeah.
far as like how to deal with conflict.
Yeah. That'll soften you up, right? Having some kids.
You know, I mean, there were times where, you know, there's a lot of things I regret doing.
Yeah.
You know, like straight up, and
Yeah.
you could point me out in a lineup. And I would probably be the nicest looking one in the lineup, and
Yeah.
no one would know that that's the guy right there
Yeah.
who's the, you know. But I never like, I have empathy. I
Yeah.
have a lot of, sometimes too much empathy in
Yeah.
the sense that I'll go too far out of my way sometimes to help someone. But definitely when it came to competitive spirit, as to what we believe, that whole bitch thing as a man, like as a boy, like you
Right.
bitch. Like,
Yeah.
you-
So that was especially that
thing.
era.
That
the
era.
era was the era of being a bitch. Are you a bitch?
Are you
Hey,
a
you a
bitch?
bitch, homie. Like
It was just
that was
on.
the era. Like
It
you a
was just
bitch.
on.
Like oh hell, I ain't gonna be no
You had
bitch.
to fight immediately.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like, so
Yeah.
I got good at fighting. I was pretty good.
Yeah.
I was good at boxing. I was
Yeah.
really good at boxing.
Yeah.
I was good at fighting. My first real fight that I got into where I actually got injured,
Yeah.
I think was in 4th grade. Like I got a bad head injury then too.
Oh wow.
Like a concussion for sure.
Fuck.
This other kid set this shit up, and then me and this other, the first Armenian kid in Glendale. Me and the first Armenian kid in Glendale.
Yeah.
This other dude set us up. This
4th
poor
grade.
fucking kid couldn't even speak English. He was like escaping some fucking genocide.
Right.
I don't even know. I don't know
Right.
any of this shit. And he set us up to fight.
4th grade, you're at 10, 12? What is that?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that,
And
yeah.
then it was a bad fight. And he got a nasty black eye. I fucked his eye up, and then I smacked my head really bad. And that was
On the concrete?
On the concrete.
You know,
and then
they-
we became friends, and then we were
Of
like
course,
buddies
classic.
afterwards, you know? Like
They
But-
say that these head injuries that people sustain, they say
Yeah.
most serial killers have a traumatic head injury in their past
Yeah.
because it really kicks something loose. And I think once you get a head injury, I think it really can it can change your life path
yeah.
in a major way. And it probably did for you.
Well,
Right.
it was a culmination of many things, I think.
Culmination, right.
And,
It's
and
a
I think you know,
perfect storm.
I love getting high.
Right.
Like I like doing drugs.
Right.
I like the intensity of being in ultimate situations.
Right.
So picture this moment, me and GK.
Yeah.
This little motherfucker, dude, he's the most maniacal
He's a maniac.
fucker there is, dude.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
nobody realized how insane he truly is. Like he really is.
Yeah, we were
He's-
talking about
he's
on the last show
like,
where he
yeah.
would drive into hoods and be like, hey, fuck you. Like you drive to someone's neighborhood and be like, you know, Diamond Street or something, be like, hey, fuck you, fool. And like
Just to
wait for them to
spark
catch up and drive away and be like, you, like, what the fuck are you doing? You
I
know?
mean, he was willing to go to prison, and he went for it for
Yeah.
graffiti. And he went to prison for graffiti, like one of the first to do prison time for graffiti.
Yeah.
But 5 freeway bridge. Okay, nobody had done this before. Upside down, hangover,
Yeah.
block letters,
Oh, yeah.
hanging
yeah.
over the freeway trestle, roller upside down,
So
but then to crawl out and then outline it.
Yeah.
And nobody had outlined the rollers on the outside of a bridge
Yeah.
before. So I remember picking up GK in Calabasas.
Yeah.
And I remember I was looking up at him in his window and I'm like, let's go. And he's like, I got a fever.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't feel good. I can't do it. And I'm like, we have to do it. We have to do it.
You have to do it.
And he's like, I got a fever, bro. It's at 100 and something right now. I'm like, we got to do it. We got to do it. And he's like, fuck it, fine. So I remember that night he was sick. He was pale. He was sweaty. He did not feel good. And he had a fucking fever. And we were like, let's go. So we go. And this is the fucking 5 and the 110 freeway trestle. In the back of people's minds in the city of Los Angeles, it's an iconic piece of furniture in the sense that you don't know it's there until you acknowledge it your whole life. To be
Right.
like, oh shit, I've been looking at that thing, you know,
Totally.
my entire life.
Totally,
It's just
yep.
sitting there.
Yep.
So it's a major piece of real estate.
Right.
And it's a felony to do
Right.
this shit.
Yeah.
So we're out there, we're painting this thing upside down and backwards. My roller keeps breaking. So my fucking roller keeps falling off as I'm doing it. So I had to keep crawling down and then fucking picking up the roller on the moving freeway.
Every story of
Okay.
you painting involves equipment breaking.
Equipment.
Every time. Cans exploding, rollers breaking.
Oh
yeah.
God, fuck. So we're dodging traffic as we're doing this major illegal piece of graffiti. Kept going back up. I had to keep lifting myself up. So every time I lift myself up on the freeway trestle, I kept getting these bruises all over my body.
Right.
But I was covered in poison ivy.
Of course.
All over my cock, my fucking dick, everything. My legs were rotten with poison oak or ivy because the week before, I crawled up the whole mountain on the side of the Dodger Stadium with David Cho through the bushes, through all the shit straight up the mountain just to do it.
No.
And we just did it, like, you know, fucking Black Widow biting, all sorts of shit.
Holy
So my whole body was
shit.
rotten with like this fucking covered in poison oak.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. It was like,
What did you paint with David Cho?
A couple of different times. I knew him early on. Like,
What did you guys paint? Like he would paint
the
like
top, that wall.
but you would do letters and he would do a character?
Yeah, if I recall.
Do you remember what it was?
I don't remember what he painted.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. It was more about just climbing it.
Yeah.
The mountain.
It's more about like that dude's like an explorer.
Yeah. He's
He's
wild.
like trying to find dinosaurs in Africa and shit. Like
I've traveled the world with him a couple places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
He's a wild dude.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. So the 5 freeway. So yeah, I think I almost died like maybe 7 or 8 times that night trying to complete that thing.
Insane.
And he went to jail for that piece.
He did?
Yeah.
Why? Later on.
Later on, they used that piece against
They used
him
it against him.
as one of the felonies. Yeah, and it sat there for 10 years. And then his got buffed, and then mine sat there for so long. Oh my God. And then one time it was on the freeway, a semi truck blew up underneath it,
Yeah.
and the whole bridge was on fire.
Yeah.
And so they used the opportunity at that time because the freeway was shut down to hire some, if I recall, to bring this special graffiti buff reconnaissance team from Seattle
Yeah.
to buff the bridge so that they can extra charge GK on that particular one to make his case that much more against him. I could be making all this shit up in my head. I don't
Sounds
fucking
cool.
know.
It sounds really cool.
But I do recall some sort of weird team being flown in from Seattle to like buff just him. And then they left mine up. So mine sat there for like another 5 years. Like,
Fuck.
So
That
I
shit
was
was
like,
that shit was
yeah.
legendary. Who was the
I even
kid?
took a selfie out there on the daytime. I have it on my phone where
You do?
I climbed out there
Oh, you gotta
with
get
this
that, Jason.
Japanese kid.
Yeah.
Okay, one of my old Japanese homies in Glendale had a Japanese foreign exchange student staying with him.
Yeah.
So I said, I need a ride. So he couldn't speak English. So I drove him and we were on the 5 and we pulled over and I got out and I said, you need to just stay here and take a photo. And he's like, huh? And I say, stay here, take a photo on the freeway.
Yeah.
Like we stopped the freeway. And he didn't, I made him do it. and I climbed up onto the bridge and then turned myself around on the little trestle and then took this like mysterious selfie of me standing there in the daytime.
No.
The whole thing, you don't notice it until you see it.
You have it on you? Can you
This
show
fool
me?
was like standing there like a fucking weirdo. And I'm above traffic in the daytime, like just,
Dude.
I think I got called on like someone thought I was trying to commit suicide or something.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
But I was just trying to get a cool photo of me like fucking hanging out on the freeway, and the Japanese kid, he participated. He actually went along and took a great photo for me.
He's like, this is America. This is what they do. I mean, that's gonna be a radical act for a Japanese person because they don't fuck around like that.
He had no idea what was going on.
They're not breaking rules
dude.
like that.
He was like, "What the fuck was going on with this kid?"
I mean, I feel like the Japanese are like everything's so orderly and sorted out, and it's like we have too much freedom. So we're out here. We have so much freedom in America that we're like dedicating our entire lives to just vandalism.
To vandalism.
Like your entire life is dedicated to that. It's
My
fucking,
entire life is to vandalize
this is
the
to be.
city.
I'm just gonna climb freeways. I'm gonna be covered in
sorry.
fucking dirt and paint my whole life.
I'm really sorry. One time I was with Hayes,
Yeah.
and me and good old Brian
Oh yeah.
were climbed on the freeway
Yeah.
to paint this weird little wall.
Yeah.
We laid our paint out,
Yeah.
and I smelled something really bad.
Oh no. Bum shit.
And I was like, this is really bad.
Oh.
This is really fresh. And I looked down and I realized that I had set my whole paint out and everything on top of a homeless shit den.
Oh.
And then I realized at that point that I was completely covered head to toe in fresh, warm diarrhea.
Human shit. Oh.
Cans.
That's like
I had a chunk on my thumb.
no.
That I flicked, and I flicked it. It was I had an actual chunk on my thumb. So Brian looked at it. So we ran to his car. He's like, "Where do we go?" So where do we go? And smell the whole time I was gagging.
Oh.
And then we saw a hotel. I was like, let's just go to the hotel. So I opened the car. I ran into the hotel. It's 2 a.m. The guy's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm using your bathroom. He tried to stop me.
You just are we good on audio?
This poor motherfucker. He tried to stop me. He thought I was like some psychopath, like weirdo trying
It's
to
the
break
shit
in.
man.
I told him. He tried to grab me, and I said, "I'm covered in shit." And once he said I was covered in shit, he stepped away, and I just ran for the bathroom, and I smashed his fucking bathroom, bro, just head to toe, just soap and fucking the whole thing. Smashed the. Dude, I was covered in shit.
Oh,
I dumped
God,
my
dude.
clothes. I threw my clothes in the trash. And I fucking ran out with no clothes on into Hayes. This fucking
No, you did?
I was like, "We're going home now. That's over."
He had
We're going home."
that weird white hatchback, right? That thing
Yeah,
with
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
what was that thing? It was like had sounds in it. It was lowered. It was like a fucking big bulbous hatchback. It looked like a fucking Bulbasaur.
That's right.
That thing was cool, right? It was it some sort of I don't even know what that thing was.
I remember knowing that I needed your blessing to get through Venice.
Right.
So I kind of went out of my way to like pester you
Right.
because I know you couldn't say no because it was graffiti and you liked me.
Yeah.
But I didn't quite understand the nature of hangovers at that point.
Right.
So I would bang on your window at like 5 a.m.
Right.
because I didn't want to paint Venice
Oh yeah.
later in the day because I didn't want to, number one, possibly get killed by Shoreline Crip. I didn't want to get sweated by Venice 13.
Yeah.
And so I figured that, the best time to paint Venice was early in the morning.
Yeah.
So I would pester you to at least come with me to at least start a piece
Yeah.
so that there would be a two-tone something
Yeah.
that I was next to or around or near
Yeah.
so that if anyone did sweat me, I would at least be able to use that as a pull card, which
Yeah,
I
but-
was able to use at least twice.
Really it worked?
Where somebody came up to me, they were like, "What's up, fool? Fuck you. Who the fuck you think you are? This is such and such. I'm gonna fucking kill you right now." And I'm like, "I'm just trying to paint." And they're like, "Fuck you." And I'm like, "I'm just trying to paint a real pretty piece." And they're like, "Fuck you." And I'm like, "No, I'm friends with Two Tone." And they're like, "All right, you have 3 hours."
I mean, I'd say
I
you
got
got
a curfew, dude.
I'd say you got lucky because I'd say 9 times out of 10 that wouldn't work.
I got a curfew.
Who was the kid who fell off the fucking overpass?
Ozzy.
Ozzy, that's right.
Ozzy.
Did he
broke
bre-
his whole body.
He broke his whole body. Did he ever walk again? I don't remember.
I think so.
But I remember that was the biggest news at that. It was like probably, 96 or something?
Yeah.
I would guess. I'm just guessing. But I remember his kid like fell off. He's painted an
The
overpass.
405 freeway near the Getty.
Yeah, near the Getty.
And he took a rope
Yes.
and rappelled onto like a 6-inch little weird lip
Yeah.
that was part of the architecture of the bridge, just to take advantage of this like mini lip.
Yeah.
That's like 8 stories up.
Excuse me.
So,
I mean-
and he fell.
The lengths, I think about this, the lengths that graffiti writers would go to get up, to paint a
get
heaven,
up.
to paint
Oh,
an
here you go.
overpass is mind-boggling. Saber has got himself into literally got himself into shit. Yeah. Every time you go painting, if anyone's gonna step into bump shit, it would be you, right?
Yes.
Just cursed in that way.
I was cursed
and
in
you
bump
never.
shit.
Saber impaled himself on a spiked gate,
One
and
of
you
the
had to
big
lift
ones.
yourself off, right? It was in your stomach.
It was in my stomach, and I was all by myself. And my shoulder gave out, and so I went home to sleep. And I said, I'm not going to go to the hospital. And so,
After you impaled yourself,
and all this shit was coming out of me.
and you pulled yourself up.
I pulled myself
Off,
up.
so you were stuck on the fence.
I was stuck on the
You
fence.
you might have died there.
I might have died, but luckily I was the biggest I was at that point.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of fat to
You had a lot
trim.
of fat. Oh, yeah.
So I just scraped my stomach lining. Luckily, I didn't pierce it.
Oh, you didn't
I
pierce it.
filleted it to it.
You just went to the chub.
I just went to the fucking.
Oh, fuck.
But it was a giant hole. It was big enough to stuff an eighth in it.
Oh,
I stuffed weed in it. I actually took a nug. It was so big. It smelled so fucking bad, dog. That
you were so
bro,
gross with that
it was
hole.
so
you
nasty,
you
dude.
pull the packing tape out of it and just
Oh
like,
yeah,
ugh.
everyone thought I was some bitch, so they were like, "Oh, you got fuck you." Yeah, I didn't nothing. And I had a whole room. I think it was everyone. It was like the whole crew or some shit. And I just pulled all the gauze out of my stomach, and it was smelled so bad it cleared the room, dude. The fucking rot in my stomach was just like.
Oh.
It was a bad smell. It was not a good smell. I actually had a hard time with the smell.
Oh, it's terrible.
it gave
Saber.
me-
It's just terrible. It's just a terrible.
It took 3 months to heal from the inside out. At first, my old lady had to stuff it, and she passed out in the fucking shower trying to stuff it.
Oh.
Because she had to use her finger and she couldn't go far enough.
Ah!
So I had to get a pen. I used to stuff this shit with a pen because I had to go far enough all the way up in it.
I told you guys he was crazy.
I like it. It's fun. You know, it was a good story. I didn't die. It didn't actually hurt.
It didn't hurt.
I wasn't in
dude.
pain.
I mean, where do you
wasn't in
find the thing is when you impale yourself on a spiked
I wasn't in
fence?
pain.
How do you find the strength to do essentially kind of like a?
Well, it's just a
pushing-
reaction.
It's just like adrenaline, right? You're like,
Yeah.
and then you're
Yeah.
like, fuck.
And then I saw all this white shit coming out me.
Oh, God damn it.
Which was, it looked like cottage cheese.
No. Blah 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 blah.
So it was like you took it and just like what? You took my stomach and just went burp and just like separated against my stomach lining. That was a good one.
Oh, the human.
Oh, and
shit.
so I went back and then I cut the spike off
Yeah.
because I wanted the spike. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, if I fell on this shit, I want it. So then I made like a little plaque to like the whole. Oh, and the ER let me keep the Polaroid. So I was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
And he was an asshole. He made me wait an extra 20 hours.
20 hours?
They wouldn't. They were like, he was a dick. He was like, I'm gonna make you wait just because I know you're an asshole and I know you got that injury being an asshole.
No
so
way.
he made me wait. So me and this other dude whose hand was cut in half.
Yeah.
This poor bastard. And so we just chain smoked out in front of the ER until we got called, which took 20 hours.
No way, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck. And still back out at it.
I was at it like
You were unstoppable at that point. I remember the fever
that
with
was
which.
more to make me do more. I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
I was like-
nothing fucking like, dude, I
would say even at this point, there's nothing that's stopping me
right.
other than knowing the responsibilities that I
You have kids.
But
Right.
I'm still doing fire extinguisher tags. I'm still doing giant illegal fire extinguisher tags.
Shit.
I've done at least 10 of them.
No.
I have the last one caught on fire in Miami. I did one in Miami on this tent, and then we discovered the secret fucking multi-million-dollar speedboat that somebody spray painted. Eat the rich. So I was like, this is a perfect spot to hit. So I hit. And
A
then,
speedboat?
no, the tent that was one of the art fairs that was left behind.
Oh yeah.
That someone was stashing a speedboat.
Oh okay.
So, and there was needles everywhere. It was a nice fucking speedboat. And fucking, so I hit that and fucking 3 weeks later, somebody lit the speedboat on fire.
No shit.
And so it made the news.
You're a fucking maniac. That's the thing. Like once you get to a certain level of graffiti, you can like never quit.
I have issues. And this is how I deal with my issues, is trying to be productive.
Right.
As a citizen. I'm not trying to hurt anybody.
Right.
There are ethics behind this.
Right.
I choose to do things that I know aren't going to necessarily hurt anybody, that I know are going to get buffed immediately.
Right.
And who gives a fuck? I need to do goddamn something. And if I don't, I'm going to go fucking crazy. I'm going to lose my mind if I don't do this shit.
Right.
I am going to, and they come in waves. So if I don't do these things, then I get sick.
Right.
I get really sick if I don't do these things.
If you don't have this outlet.
If I don't have these outlets, I become a very sick human being, in the sense of the amount of self-doubt, the amount of negativity, the amount of disillusion of what life could truly be just by just letting go and being happy.
Right.
If I don't bust that fucking nut.
Right.
If I don't do it, and I'm not saying sexually, as a metaphor.
Yeah.
I have to fucking do it. Now,
It's
making
like-
art
it's-
to me is practice. So
It's
that's
compulsive, huh?
it's beyond compulsive. It's, if I don't do it, I'll become unwell at
Like
this
you're,
point.
is it because you'll hyper focus on it and you can't get out of your head? It'll make you feel crazy if you don't get it off.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
But it's about my own therapy, and it's about my engaging my own needs. And it just so happens that my needs are spraying a gang of fucking paint on ugly shit. And I don't know why, but it makes me happy.
Right.
Like nothing else. Like
Right.
I want to lick the wall or something. Like I come home feeling like an accomplished human being.
Right.
Like I actually did something.
Nothing else does that for you.
I'm searching for those, and this is why I've been a problem.
Like doing a big painting it's not the same. It's not the same. Huh?
And it'll never be the same.
It'll never be the same. Yeah,
And the only thing the painting gives me is the practice of meditation when I do it.
You've tasted too much blood. That's the problem.
I've tasted too much blood.
Yeah. That's the problem with graffiti artists. When you really get the taste of blood, you just never can stop.
Well, no, and two, it's also the act. So it's like in the sense that I could have a very, I could do a like repackaged, rebranded me,
right.
Yo, this is the new Saber.
Right.
And I could easily do that.
Yeah.
I have all this access, fan base, knowledge, all this shit, whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is how if I feel right with myself.
Right.
And if I don't do these things, if I don't do these practices, then I'm going to become potentially a bad person. And it's not because I want to be bad, but it's because I'm so dysfunctional.
Right.
Because I haven't dealt with all the shit that's necessary.
Have you
what
ever
I'm saying?
done any like long-term psychotherapy, stuff like that?
And a few times I did therapy, they called the police on me.
What do you say?
So I said, motherfucker, now I want to beat your fucking ass. And now I'm all stressed the fuck out because you threatening to fucking call the police on me.
You shrieked to call the
fuck
cops?
your ass, motherfucker. I'll choke you the fuck out. Dude, I was so mad at this fool. I said, are you serious? I can't even be honest with you, you piece of shit. And I'm not even talking about some nasty shit. I was like, fuck you.
That's a fucking betrayal of the.
Yeah, I wanted to choke him out. I wanted to choke my therapist out. I'm going to
sanctity.
choke my fucking therapist out, dude. I'm seriously, I was going to choke his ass out. I was
Whoa.
really angry, dude. I was like,
Yeah.
but
Why do you want to call the cops on you?
it was so stupid too. I told him I smoked weed.
What the fuck? Are you
And
shitting me?
he said, I know you do more drugs than that. And I said, why? And he said, because you say you have all these seizures. And I said, and everybody always accused me of being a meth head. So like even my house was raided recent, not that recent, but maybe 2 years ago. Because they accused me for child endangerment because they said I was smoking meth with my kids.
What?
Yeah. I was like, really? Where'd that come from?
Whoa.
They showed with guns blazing, everything.
Who the fuck
Took us all out in the fucking street.
Search the house.
Searched the house. Me and old lady had to piss test.
What?
I was like, I even told him, I said, I smoked meth once when I was in high school. It was the best night of my life. I fucked this girl all night. It was the greatest night of my fucking life. I tried it again, and it was the worst night of my fucking life. I've cut everybody out I've ever known meth in my fucking life. And they were like, no, you're smoking meth. We know it.
I mean, yeah, you definitely can give off some meth vibes.
Well,
if
yeah,
someone doesn't know
with
you.
the seizures, you know, and that's the problem. I was having so many seizures at that point.
Yeah.
That just one doctor didn't like me and was just like, fuck you, and for some reason. And,
Again, I have to factor in, I got to say this, and I don't believe in this shit, but I got to say, maybe the worst run in luck in human history. Like, to have a shrink try to call the cops on you because you smoke. I told my shrink I smoked crack. Like, I could tell her I'm freshly like beat someone to smoke crack. And she'd be like, well, let's talk
I was just
about
masturbating on the freeway. And they were like, okay, that's okay.
She would talk me through it. She would work through it with me. That's fucking terrible.
Yeah, I was mad.
Then people thinking that you're on meth when you have a seizure and you have a physical condition and calling fucking child protective on you is like fucking
I've woken
nuts.
up in the ER naked I actually woke up naked in the ER last week and they pounded me with fucking morphine. Oh my God, they gave me holy shit. And it's because I came up clean. So they're like, of course he's clean. He fucking pound him, send him home. And
Wait.
I had no clothes on because I had a seizure in the fucking shower. And so the ambulance had to get me. And I woke up in the ER. This is like, look, I still have the IV. This was a bad IV. They couldn't get me. And fucking, and so I wake up in the ER and I'm like straight, like, what's up guys? Like straight naked. Like, it's a little cold in here. Like, dude, I woke up in county 3 different times in the hallway, butt naked. Balls hanging out, strapped too, like to the fucking, like actually strapped to the gurney with my balls to the wind. Numerous times, bro. I just
in county.
Just county. I have a long relationship with county, dude. They're the ones who treat me. They actually got me all this fucking shit. But in Pasadena, I go to Huntington. They always end up there. But,
Wait, hold on. Let me ask you a question. So, because of the nature of your violent seizures, right? You could be having a conversation with me and then time travel to being in a hospital. Like, you don't even remember anything.
Gone.
So right now you could fish out.
Yes.
And then you're gonna wake up in the hospital.
Yes.
If you did have a seizure right now, do I put that little baby bat in your mouth? Is that real or is that bullshit?
No. That's bullshit.
You're not gonna bite your tongue off.
No, I might bite my tongue. I will bite the shit out of my mouth, but I won't bite it off.
But I put something
But
in
it
your
might
mouth?
bite your finger off.
Would I put a blanket in there or something? Or?
No, nothing. No,
Nothing,
you
just
just leave you on your side so you don't choke on your vomit.
Jesus Christ.
That's the best thing. Yeah. And my problem with my condition is the nature of my condition. I have these really severe seizures in my sleep early in the morning.
Yeah.
So I've only had a few seizures while I was awake. Well, I've had more than a few, but I had a set of seizures last month, and this is a new one, where I had a seizure, woke up, taking a shit. So I had a muddy ass. My poor old lady had to pick my ass up with a muddy ass on the toilet after having a seizure.
Oh, you had a seizure while you were taking a shit?
While I was taking a shit.
Oh,
so she gets me to the bed, gets me my meds, lets me sleep, watches me. I have another seizure. I wake up, but I had a seizure somewhere in my brain where you bust a nut. So bonus seizure. Busted a huge nut having a seizure. So I woke up with my whole front gummed the fuck up, my back muddy the fuck up. I got a muddy ass. I have a fucking perpetual hard on that's completely gummed the fuck up. I don't know where I am, and I'm like, and she's just like petting my head, going like, slowly come back. I was like, what the fuck happened? She's like, you were standing here, you had a seizure, and you just busted this giant nut. Which I thought was fabulous. I was like,
amazing, but you didn't get to feel it. You just
no,
busted.
I don't remember. I just woke up.
Just like, ugh,
gummy as fuck. So that was a bad one. I had a seizure in front of the Gaudi Cathedral once with David Cho.
Yeah.
I woke up there. I thought I time traveled.
Right.
And I got lost through Barcelona by myself, covered in piss.
Why, you just took off after that? After the seizure?
Yeah, I refused help, I guess. And they were wrestling me in the street, and I woke up in front of the Gaudi Cathedral, and I thought it fucking time warped me.
Whoa, dude. That's
Because I was like,
maybe
look
the
at
worst-
this thing. What is this thing? I'm like,
That's
what the fuck is
for,
this thing?
the worst place in the world for Saber to wake up is the Gaudi Cathedral.
Oh my god!
Because you're already so gothic anyways, and then you're like, you wake up, you're like, oh, I finally transcended. I'm past the ninth
I
gate.
woke up, and it was because I just got off the plane, and it was late in the morning. It was super late in the morning.
Yeah.
I didn't even know I was having seizures at that point, and so I thought I was hungry. Dave was at the spot going to sleep. Went to go get some food. And then I had a seizure in the street. And it was right near there. And then I woke up in front of it. And then I was like, where the fuck am I? Dude? I was like, this is awesome. I was like, this is the fucking Gaudi Cathedral.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. I had a seizure in Bangkok. I thought I woke up in a UFO because these little dudes in these cool jackets kept poking me with these big ass needles, dude. And I was like, where the fuck am I? And it was this chrome circle room. That was this chromed out room. And I was the only one in there. And so I was like this special dude in this like UFO. And these little dudes chasing me around with these cool blazers. I'm like, where the fuck am I?
So let me just, if you have seizures all the time, is there one place you go to more often than others? Like, or is it like, because like everyone's gonna do something different, or they all do the same thing? They just strap you down, give you morphine. Like, what the fuck?
Well, no, it depends. Usually, what they have to do is stabilize you with the drug that they usually stabilize me with is Ativan,
Oh yeah,
which just knocks your ass.
you're on
Gone.
some heavy opiates with that
I'm
shit.
on a lot of drugs every day. I'm on 6 tranquilizers a day.
How do you keep that in control without like
learning.
abusing it? You're
No, I
learning.
don't abuse. The drugs I'm on. I don't like at all.
Yeah,
They
you don't
suck.
like it.
They're-
But you like
I don't
weed so
want 'em.
much.
That's how I deal with it.
Right, you smoke a gang.
I smoke a gang of motherfucking weed, bro. I smoke bong rips and tobacco all fucking day.
You
as
do
much
tobacco
as I can.
bong rips?
I did
What is
weed
it?
and tobacco, only indica. And this is very important for people. They should know that sativas and hybrids causes seizures.
Okay.
And people don't realize that. So there was a long time where I was smoking train wreck and fucking fishing out and not realizing that my condition was
You've been a
completely
stoner forever too, huh?
long fucking time.
Forever. You've been heavy
Since
into
Crises
weed.
got me high at
Oh my
805,
God,
dude, in like
Crises.
9th grade.
Where's Crises at?
I heard he turned schizophrenic
He's been schizo for a long time.
and
yeah.
showed up at Risky's house with no shoes on or some shit.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
poor
A lot of
guy.
it's interesting.
A lot of people went crazy.
A lot of
people
writers
went
went. A
schizophrenic.
lot of writers had schizophrenia, which maybe who knows what that
And
is.
to be honest with you, right now with some real shit, what I'm dealing with, my mom went full blown schizophrenia
No
this
way.
last 4 months. When,
Oh no.
And she's lost everything, and now is completely not there, and is completely gone, and is in a home that costs $4 a month, and I need to hustle. So all you motherfuckers out there, no, I'm not gonna live that much longer, you assholes. So you better start cashing in on my shit now, you
Yeah,
fucking
get in on the
clown
ground.
ass.
Get in on the ground floor of Saber, you guys.
Because it's gonna happen fast. So, but yeah, that's been a tough one, dude. That's been a tough one.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's been really
That's
hard.
tough.
Just this morning, I was all morning dealing with it.
Fuck, that's terrible.
All last week dealing with it.
Watching your parents get old is hard, man.
One day she called me. She thought I was in her house, that I turned to stone meditating,
Oh, well,
and
that
that
could
I wouldn't
happen.
move, and that she put the phone on the chair and started talking to me, and trying to feed me, and she thought I wouldn't leave, and that I would turn to stone.
She thought you were the chair.
Yeah, and then the lamp had no head, so there was this headless person that wouldn't leave her house for like 3 weeks. So
Oh,
that
no.
got pretty nasty.
Your dad's not around.
Yeah, he got killed by a drunk driver.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, he got ran the fuck over by a drunk driver. And that was it. That was the end
When
of
was that?
Fuck, I don't even remember now. Fuck, 10 years ago?
Fuck.
Yeah. He moved to North Carolina, found a new wife,
Right.
which would be like the Nazi version of me as the son.
Right.
This dude wanted to murder my ass, dude, straight the fuck
Oh,
up.
your
This other
stepbrother?
dude, I don't even know who this dude. I don't even remember his name. And they were only together for like 3 weeks, and then he got ran over.
No fucking.
That
way.
was it. And this fool was like, "Fuck you! I got ARs, and I clean these ARs. You piece of shit. Fuck you! Fuck your ass."
Why do you hate you?
Because we went there to go get what was left of my dad's shit, me and my half sister, and because he had some of our family's things. I'm
Yeah.
like, and he was not happy, and he was like, "Fuck y'all, murder your ass, dude. If I had the chance right now, fuck your life."
Why?
He was just so mad that we came to his house and just took shit, and I was
He
like,
didn't want you to take your dad's shit back.
well, I don't really know what was going on, so I don't know what happened. I just took one. I got one painting. That was it. So all I got was one thing.
Your dad was an artist too.
Yeah, and my grandfather was too. He was I guess an accomplished illustrator at some point.
It's like you're
Euclid shook.
Euclid shook.
My mom was one of the first, ladies at Art Center early on.
I think if you have an artistic inclination, you're fucked because it's because you kind of have to do it. Like if you're driven in that way, you kind of have to be an artist. Like no artist is going to stop and be like, I'm going to fucking join the IRS. Like you have to become an artist, right? And you have to pursue it to some length.
If you join the IRS and you become a deviant and you habitually like masturbate in the office, it's because you didn't engage yourself wanting to be an artist.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you don't scratch that itch, you go crazy. Yeah. And so let's say you're scratching the itch, and you're gonna be an artist. Well, the reality is, it doesn't mean you're gonna succeed in any way. There's no guarantees. I gotta use the restroom real quick. One second.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Okay, a big chapter for myself is Echo Park. Echo Park is
Jesus
important.
Christ.
I lived in Echo Park for 10 years.
Oh, I forgot about that. You lived in Echo Park when it was still Echo Park.
And there were blocks on my house.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So then I had to leave Echo Park. And that was...
So what happened? Someone wrong with the locals or?
Yeah, I stabbed some kid and then trying to save this other kid's life.
Yeah.
And then everyone knows who I am. So I couldn't go anywhere. So I had to leave.
Oh, they all knew you were Saber.
Yeah. So I had to leave immediately.
Right.
So but I was there for 10 years.
Yeah. You were by the lake?
Right near the lake. I was right behind the Bank of America. And a funny story, fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers, Keaton, what's his name?
Kiedis.
Anthony
Kiedis. Yeah.
Kiedis doing the taxi jump up in the alley, in the taxi, in the video.
Yeah.
In that one song. I was right there and they were doing it. The production was right there. That was where I lived. So I came outside and then they pulled the trash can out because I had to move the trash can, and production put sushi on the trash can. And then here's Anthony pulls up and his homie was one of Finn's homies. So he was like, "What's up, Saber?" And I'm like, "Whoa, how do you know me?" And he's like, "I'm friends with Finn." I'm like, "No shit." And then Anthony was like, "Yo, I know Mirror," or some weird shit.
Yeah,
I'm like, "Really? Okay, what's up?" And he's like, "I gotta take a piss." I'm like, "Okay." So he's like, "Where can I take a piss?" I was like, "Use my apartment." So we ran up real quick to see we had to take a leak during that whole shoot, like during the taxi and everything. And then he saw the Belmont painting. And then as he like ran to go to my bathroom, I have that painting I did of Belmont. And then so he was like, "Oh shit, that's Belmont Tunnels." And then he ran out. And it was funny.
That's hard.
This fool took a piss.
What
This fool
video
took
is
a
that?
piss in my house. He's jumping in the taxi.
Under the bridge downtown.
One of
I
those goddamn
saw a
songs.
Saber piece.
I don't know which one.
Dude.
But he was short.
Okay. All celebrities are short, apparently.
Recall that.
So let's talk. So yeah, the Echo Park years. I remember hearing about that. I mean, listen. The truth is, same as with GK. I could talk to you for 6 hours about.
Yeah.
Like we're just scratching the surface.
We're not even talking about anything.
We haven't even talked about anything. We haven't even actually talked.
We haven't even talked about
we
like.
talked about seizures for 45 minutes. Like we didn't even talk about like.
We could talk about art and like we could talk about
there's so many things.
process. We could talk about. We could talk about.
But we have a
marketing strategies. We could talk about.
Well, just historically,
politics.
the history of LA graffiti, right? As a subject.
Yeah, anything we could talk about.
There's a million things, but we have a limited window tonight. And the thing is this: I want to talk to you before we slow down here. I want to talk to you about the LA River piece, which is like that's like your most famous piece of work, right? By far.
Yeah.
And you used to be able to see it from approach from LAX, right?
Yes, and it was one of the first pieces that of art that was seen from Google Earth.
The first piece of
So
art.
it was, I didn't know. I heard of Google Earth. I was like, "Can you see it from Google Earth?" And so I went in there and I was like, "Oh shit!" And zoomed in. It was like Google Earth, yay!
You're like, "Oh, I am real."
So then I could create the story and be like, "Hey, I'm the first to ever make a piece of art that would connect to the Google Earth." It's sort of bullshit, but it was my neighbor's computer, but I still did it.
It's pretty awesome. I mean, again, like another in a long history and career of like just gut-wrenchingly hard projects that you somehow muscled through.
Yeah.
I remember when you started painting it, I had a little Nissan Hardbody. It was my first vehicle. I remember I drove on the piece. I mean, I drove into
No
LA.
shit.
I drove
Were
into
you
LA
with Chunk?
Huh?
Were you with Chunk at the time?
Might have been with Chunk. Yeah. That does check. I might have been with Chunk. And remember you were there. You're like, come on, and I come and I'm like driving on the sketch or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm driving on this dude's piece. Like it's so fucking big.
Yeah.
And I know that piece took you a year to do, right? Tell us about the
A
piece.
year. I guess I became obsessed with the LA River early on in the sense of its connection to LA and spending time down there at night. So I'd been in different locations many different times, and I always wanted to leave a mark in the LA River, knowing that it was important for me as LA, like just for my little thing, especially coming from Glendale and then leading to like, that whole area towards that way. So I just loved the LA River. So then Fate did a big piece with Chunk, but Fate that used the roller and used the gravity. And we were like, oh shit, you could spread it as opposed to paint it. And
Spread it.
You could spread it. And
What do you mean? Like just pour it down the
just
fucking
pour it
bank?
and spread it. And that way you're not like fucking so you
Rolling
use
forever.
rolling, and then you can't go that high. There's no way to do a piece that's like 40 feet high.
Right.
Like that. That was 70 feet, 75 feet or something high.
Right.
So then I had the epiphany. It was like, oh shit, you could roller, you got the little roller, you got the big roller, you got everything. You could do fades, you could do fucking cuts, you could do highlights. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Why haven't we done this yet?
Right.
I realized then once you started, like why like people didn't do it. And Albert was the first to do it.
Right.
He was the first to do it. So I was like, well, I want to be the first to do like a wild style.
Right.
Using all these techniques.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know what I was in for. I was doing it from Thousand Oaks. So I would drive in my car from Thousand Oaks all the way deep into the LA River. And then I would have to find different locations for different entry points. So which was interesting, was I was always maintaining different holes and fences. So what I would do, I would just lurk around the vicinities and maintain holes with bolt cutters. And there are other ones you pop the rivets and the other ones so you can wiggle the ones, and you would know that one would be wiggled that you can use like as a door because you'd have a shirt attached to the razor wire on the top.
Right.
And then you just pop the rivets at the bottom.
Right.
And then that way you can use it as like a little door. Fucking one time Chunk and Phaeton chased me in the rivers. They drove down there.
Yeah.
And I ran from them, and they knew I was running from them because they thought it was like fucking, somebody trying to murder me and shit.
Right.
So I hopped the razor wire. I got all cut and shredded, and I'm like hooked in the razor wire, and they're fucking all pop out and start laughing at me in the fucking car. I'm like bloodied. I had this huge hole in my hand. I was like, dude, they were just laughing at me and just like, ha ha, we got you this time.
Fuck.
Fucking, I had to learn how to steal really well.
Yeah.
Because I knew I needed to. Luckily, what I was stealing wasn't important to most people.
Yeah.
So if you steal 50 gallons of paint, most people aren't going to go missing.
No one thinks you're stealing 50 gallons of paint. Yeah.
So it's pretty easy to steal 50 gallons of paint.
Yeah.
When you're going about stealing 50 gallons of paint.
And how many gallons of paint did you? I know you quantified that at one point.
97 then, but then I had to go back. And there's a secret to that nobody else knows that I don't know if I should let go because he told me not to say it, but it was so long ago that it doesn't really matter. And since then, a lot of people don't know if I've actually spoken to Jay. Like me and Jay have like talked. Like,
oh, really?
It's all good, dude. Like,
what's the secret?
Who helped me fix it?
No.
Somebody
Bullshit.
came here. Somebody came here.
Wait,
and was like, get off your ass, you motherfucker, and let's go fix this shit.
I thought
and
you were
you're
saying-
using oil base.
I thought you said JA helped you fix it. I was gonna say.
No, but someone else. And
He's the one that got you to fix it?
he was like, let's go, and you're gonna do it my way.
No.
You're gonna do it the way I tell you to do
Bleep
it.
Bleep it out. Bleep it out. We gotta bleep it. Make sure you.
But
bleep
we
it.
don't know though. It might be good.
No. You always gotta bleep it. Always.
Okay.
Better safe than sorry. You don't want to blow the spot up.
He might be happy that we brought it up.
So he made you come fix it.
So he showed up, and it had been a year. And so I was like really bummed, and life was really hard at the time. It was like 2008 or some shit. And I mean, God, the shit that was happening in my, So he just showed up.
Wait, hold on. People don't understand what happened here. We're getting ahead.
Okay.
Let's talk about A year to finish it.
Okay, so this is a wild style piece,
Right.
painted almost the scale of a football field, without being able to go backwards to look at the scale. Number one,
Yeah, because you'd have to
Number
run.
two,
You'd have to run in order. Think
and you
about
can't
this.
run backwards because you fall in the river and you'll.
It's on a bank, a slanted bank, which is like what 30-degree slant,
Yeah.
right? I'd say roughly 30-degree slant bank, which is the size of a fucking football field.
Yeah.
Okay, if you put trains next to it, it's 3 train lengths.
Something like that.
3 train lengths.
And those
is
are
how
the big
long.
ones. Those are the metro.
3 metro train lengths long. Okay, 30-degree angle. 70 feet tall football field.
Something like that.
So in order, and when you're painting a piece, you walk up to the wall, you paint, and you step back and you look.
step back.
You're going back and forth all day.
You
Back and
can't
forth.
look at this thing.
You can't look. So you have to just figure it out. Because if you were to look at it, you'd have to run down the whole bank, go across the fucking LA
you
River,
can't.
and go even further. You have to go outside the
You
fence.
can't cross the river.
Right, you can't
It's too
cross the river.
slippery because you and
It's full of moss, human shit,
it's super
dead babies,
slippery.
all that shit.
And the
Yeah.
minute you go into it, you slide. And one time I tried to save a guy and he pulled me in.
Yeah.
And I got caught in the current for over a mile. I couldn't
No.
get out.
Are you serious?
Because it was too slippery and it wasn't even that high.
Again, another instance
Yeah.
where your life, you've put your absolute physical life on the line so many times for this thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Insane.
It's like the blood of, but
So
the piece. So keep in mind,
Yeah.
just to be able to scale it, meaning driving back from Thousand Oaks to the Hood, to East LA, to Boyle Heights, to then get through the razor wire on the opposite side of the meat factory that smelled like dead ass,
Yeah.
to then not get caught slipping by Boyle Heights, which at least 6 or 7 different times just to look at the piece to scale it, I got caught slipping by them and they were going to murder me right there.
Yeah.
So just to look at the piece, you can get killed.
Right.
Just to look at it.
And it could have looked like at some point
Just
it might
to-
have looked like gang blocks. Like
Well, yeah, and just to get the photo, I
Yeah.
almost got my dad killed by Boyle Heights and he got chased. And and I had the car and he was running and it was fucking fabulous. And these dudes had fucking sticks and they were chasing him.
did you ever have a reckoning with them where they were like, we like it?
I've had with some youngsters,
Yeah,
where
they're
they were
like-
like, I've had quite a few youngsters be like, without that gave me something to look forward to.
Yeah.
It gave me something to be like, well, I could add color as opposed to just the blocks, or a lot of their older brothers that were my age and older would push that off to them.
Yeah.
And be like, you should try to go do that. Because they
Yeah,
knew
don't
going and
gangbang,
painting
do
and
this
don't
instead.
gangbang.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
over. At that point, it's over.
Yeah.
And these are real hoods, and I'm
No,
a
it's
fucking
real-
visitor. I'm nobody. I'm a
Yeah.
piece of shit. I'm a fucking privileged ass piece of shit.
Yeah.
Vandalizing their fucking hoods.
Right.
So they should catch me slipping.
Right.
I deserve to get caught slipping.
Right.
Because my parents then would have bailed me out of fucking jail like they
Right.
did.
Right.
And my parents weren't gangbanging. So it's like,
Yeah, you're talking about kids that are literally growing up by the river, the fucking LA River.
yeah, this is
Like,
real shit.
It's like it's just dismal right there.
And I knew that I had to prove a point for myself in the sense of an adventure.
Yeah.
To be like, once I started, and I knew once I started, I had to finish it because everybody was watching me. The
Yeah.
whole city was watching me.
Yeah.
So I had to fucking finish this
Yeah.
thing. And God, I
I
had
know
to
you blew out your shoulder,
blow out my knee,
blow out your knee, you blow out your knee going up and down that slant.
up and down, and that.
I mean, the toil you put on your body working on a slant, like just your back alone. I mean, it's fucking mind boggling.
And to the gravel, the ground itself is
Oh.
not smooth. It's
Yeah.
like fucking sand,
Yeah.
really, really crazy sandpaper.
Yeah.
So if I would have to get flat paint because it would dry a little faster, because anything that was glossy, the second your feet were wet, you would slide all the way fucking down. So there were a few times where I was at the top all by myself in the middle of nowhere, fucking lurkers in the distance, police helicopters, razor wire, and I'm by myself. And all of a sudden I'm painting and I just fucking slipped and I just slid all the way down the river and fucking just ate shit so many times. And I finally came to the conclusion that I had to paint flat patches
Right.
of the paint. And then I could step on those and I would remember which colors were flat so that I could then walk on it when my feet were wet, because you couldn't avoid getting your feet wet
Holy shit.
no matter what. So like I was like following the trail almost like a snail of
Right.
which colors. Somehow then I remembered which
It's like
colors
the most
were.
dangerous game of Twister ever.
But yeah, I felt, and Snake from Karate Kid 3.
Snake.
From Karate Kid 3.
Oh, yeah.
And he's the one who came and dissed it. And that's
Right.
J.A., one of the most prolific maniacal motherfuckers there is.
Jay is a legend.
So-
undoubtedly, say what you want about the man.
Last
he's a
dude
legend.
I want to have fucking beef with is
Right.
this fucking guy.
And the thing is, I remember when J.A. dissed it, and everyone's like, "We're gonna get him." I'm like, bro,
you can't. Nobody.
it's J.A. This is his job.
Yeah.
This is what is. You did the biggest piece in the world.
Yeah.
Well, you know what has to happen? J.A.'s got to diss it.
Yeah.
Because that's what he does.
That's what he does.
And everyone's like, "We're gonna find him." I'm like, "You're not
Yeah.
gonna find this dude. He's a fucking.
He's dangerous.
Yeah. You're not gonna find him.
He's a lot more dangerous than I ever was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's from a different generation too.
Different,
so.
different generation.
But yeah, eventually, like years later, 20 years later, longer,
J.A. capture piece. Somebody
Yeah.
from New York says, "Go, let's go fix it.
But this time we'll use oil base
Use oil
because
base."
knowing that the city was going to buff it.
When he captured piece, how much work did that? I mean, how did he just do throw ups over the whole thing? I don't remember.
He
what
did fill in throw ups over the entire piece.
So he had to take.
I think he smoked crack too. I think he got lit on melting some rocks and getting drunk, and then sat there all night and did throw
all
ups.
night. He had to be there all night. At least he had to work for it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To cover that fucking monstrosity,
Yeah.
he had to work hard.
Yeah.
He must have in the dissing of your piece. There must have been a point where he goes, "God damn."
I lost so much sleep over all that bullshit.
Yeah, and
Oh my
then
God.
and I remember GK said that, and I don't know if you remember this one, but he said that he showed up at an art show in drag.
Yeah, I think so.
But
Yeah.
the stories are but
Yeah.
showed up there in drag.
Yeah.
And GK's like, "That's JA," but no one saw him.
Yeah.
The myth.
Yeah.
He's a mystery man.
He's
a man.
dangerous too.
Yeah.
He's like streetwise. He's dangerous. Like,
Yeah,
he's
he knows.
actually because I've made friends with some of his friends,
Yeah.
and I've heard a lot of stories, and I'm like, oh shit,
You're not fucking with it.
I ain't fucking. Like,
Yeah.
if I do, then it's.
The shotgun in the trunk and the fucking
Yeah, all that shit. But
Yeah.
for me, beef is serious. So as a grown man, a family man, somebody who's like legally disabled,
Hey man, some of these
you want
beef-
beef with me, bro? I'm gonna put a hole in you. That's it. I mean, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
There's no in between. So it's like,
Yeah.
please, can we talk about this? I really don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I'm friends. We're all good.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is now. And and
Some
if somebody
of these
still,
beefs don't die. Some
then
people
it's
never
like,
let go of beef, man.
then
It's-
I'm gonna
it's-
have to figure out everything
Yeah,
about
yeah.
you, and I really don't
Right.
want to.
You gotta do your research.
Oh
Yeah.
God!
So
Those days are over, which is fabulous.
Of course.
you know.
I'd like to think so.
Those days are long gone.
So Jay caps a piece. You fix it.
I
How long
fix
does it take
it.
you to fix it? You have to redo the outline.
Redo
you got to
the
redo
outline.
the fill in. You got to
No,
make
I didn't
it so
do
that-
redo the fill-in.
You left the J's in there, but you outlined over
Redid
it.
the outline, and then I redid the cruise.
You redid the cruise.
And I stole this gold leaf paint, real gold paint.
Yeah.
I forgot where I stole it from. Some weird paint store.
Yeah. I
And-
remember you were obsessed with gold leaf for a while.
Yeah, and it was this super toxic fucking gold leaf paint. I
Right,
drenched
of
myself
course,
in this
if it's-
poison ass shit.
Right. If you're using it,
Oh,
it's going to kill you.
God,
Yeah.
dude. And of course, it completely tarnished in like a month, and it didn't looking brown.
Right.
But the oil base, I think, on the outline was most important because I knew that it was going to get buffed with that watery ass paint.
Yeah.
And I knew that it would be nice that it will sit another 20 years
Right.
and start peeking through, especially if we did that thick oil base. And so we used the Rusto,
Yeah.
and we just did the.
Did he do it with you?
Yeah, he was like, "We're doing it now. Get in the car,
He
get
did
the
it with
paint.
you? Holy shit.
Like get
That's
the
crazy.
paint."
That's a
He's
real
like,
one.
"Do it."
That's a real one.
He's like, "Pick me up at this time."
That's crazy.
He's like, "You're not going to disagree with me. We're going to do it this way.
That's amazing.
We're going to do the highlights. We're going to redo the outline, and then you come back and then you do whatever you're going to do."
That's amazing. I didn't know he did that.
Yeah, and then to do the 3Ds, I had to rig this system of like, I mean, it's not really a system. I just fucking tied this thing to the middle of it, a string, and then so all the 3Ds come to the middle. So it had a perspective.
right.
So I had this really long string, and then I would do a mist, so the string would leave that, and then I'd use that as like the guide to like do the lines in the 3Ds the right
Oh,
way.
for the perspective. That's crazy.
So it had like the
So
right-
now, if you drive past it, what can you see?
it's sort of peeking through a little bit.
You think it'll fade out one day and the oil will come through?
It'll
'Cause-
come
Coming back. Sita said it was coming back.
Yeah.
Who did?
Sita, when we had him on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's coming back.
It's coming back.
Yeah.
It's coming back to life.
And
Well,
watch the city of Los Angeles at one point. Once
Yeah.
once my ass is long fucking gone.
Yeah,
Someone's
be
gonna
like-
get a hard on.
They're gonna uncover it and be
And
like,
then
"This
they'll
is
be
a treasure."
like, they'll be like, we need
for
to
sure.
keep this,
Yeah,
and be
for
like,
sure.
well, it's too late, but it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
When did you paint it and when was it fixed?
1997 is when I painted it, and then, I don't really recall when we fixed it, but that might have been somewhere between 2000. 2006 and 9. I don't know anymore.
So
Fuck.
over a long time span.
Yeah, it sat
was
for
up a
like
long
5,
time.
6, 7. It sat for like 7 years, and then
And
it
you
got
got
dissed.
you got a lot of attention, a lot of press
Yeah.
from that thing.
Yeah.
Newspaper articles, like it was
All
like
sorts of
it
shit.
kind of helped launch
Yeah.
your career to a point, right?
Yeah.
As far as like a fine artist.
To a certain degree, yeah, because
certain
people
degree.
were like, "How is that possible?" Once
Right.
they saw me in the photo,
Yeah.
which I knew my dad, I needed him to take the photo,
Right.
Because I put them through hell to do this shit. And my
Right,
dad,
right.
my parents were cool. My mom she's beyond an obsessive compulsive, but my dad was cool.
Yeah.
He's like, "You just did what?" All right.
At this point, they're like,
He couldn't,
yeah.
dude. I one time at community service, this fucker, dude. The boss of the community service for buffing, I scribed his whole fucking windshield. That fuck you, top to bottom, in front of my pops, and he couldn't even say. He was just like. He could. It's like
You
400
scribed-
hours of community service.
You scribe the community service guy's window.
The boss dude, he's like, I know. He said, I know you're like oil. I know you're like oil. You're like oil. I know it. And he was this Indian dude. He was like from India, and he was like, I got you. I know it's you. I know it's you.
What does
he
that
was
mean? I know you like oil.
Oiler. He thought it was like he thought I was like a
He
tagger.
thought you were oiler.
He thought I was like him or wanted to be like him.
Oh,
he was
oh,
obsessed with Oiler.
Oh, yeah.
This random weird dude. And like, so he fucking dissed me because he made us drive all the way and fucking sign the papers, this and that. He didn't show up. I was like, fuck this dude. So I scribed his whole fucking car.
Did he know it was you?
He knew it was me, but he couldn't prove it. So he still had to sign the papers. But my dad was just looking at me like, you're such an asshole. Like,
Yeah, he knew he lost control of you a long time ago.
yeah, but that wasn't a good alternative than beating the guy. I mean, that was like really considering like assaulting the poor bastard. So, which I didn't want to do. But
Now, when you were making the piece, were your parents aware? How did that work?
they knew. I told them, but I also told them that I'm going to do it anyway. So you can't stop me. So if I'm going to leave and I'm going to break out of the house, I'm just going to go do it. So you can't stop me. And so at that point, they were like, well, we can't stop him. We'll just let him stay here. Well, you can be a resident of our house until you straighten your life out.
Right.
And I was like, well, it's too late. So I had to finish this thing.
Yeah.
And each time I would go was a risk. Each time I would go, I always had the uncertainty that I might not come back, in the sense that I could get arrested, I could get injured.
Yeah.
A couple times I got rolled up on. One time this psychopath was having a full meltdown, and he had nobody, and he just was wandering. And
He had no one to put it on, huh?
he had no one to put it on, and he stumbled upon me.
Yeah.
And he just sat down next to me while I painted and just babbled just about shit that didn't make sense.
Dude, you're
Another dude, I found a memorial on this bum shit. And I made this oil painting, and somebody dragged these beautiful memorial flowers all the way into this actual bum toilet. And I did an oil painting of it because the photo was so like shocking that
when you say bum toilet, you're saying that homeless people have outdoor toilets. They
well,
all
they got to
shit
shit
in?
somewhere. So
They all
there's
shit
like,
in unison somewhere.
well, I mean, there are places that maybe one dude or three dude or five dudes might use the same spot.
Maybe
oh,
it's
this
one
last
big
guy.
dude.
Oh, you should have seen the fucking needles I came across this last motherfucker. This guy was on a haystack, and he was making a gun out of found objects. It was beautiful. He was an artist, and he was about to shoot heroin, and these two kids were lurking up in front of me, and me and fucking Zane from Chop 'Em Down ran up behind him, and these two kids, they were adults. They were like, "Who the fuck are you?" And I was like, "I'm Saber," and I had the fire extinguisher, and they were like, "Bullshit," and I was like, "No, for real, I'm Saber." They were like, "Fuck you, there's only one Saber," and they go, "Prove it." And I had the fire extinguisher, and then we busted the drone out, busted the fire. The kid filmed it, so on my post, that random kid, was the one who filmed the fucking thing, and so he was like,
"Prove it." You're
he
like,
was like, "Oh my
I happen
God."
to have a fire extinguisher right here, sir. Let me just do a top to
That was
bottom.
3 months ago. But yeah, that was the most needles I think I've ever seen in one location.
What do you think? Do you? We got to wrap up soon, but
Yeah, and the LA River is a haven for homelessness because there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you can survive in the LA River, it's like that's like real last resort type shit. And I made friends with some people like Pepper.
Oh yeah,
he's one of my homies. Like that's one of the most OG fucking maniacal dudes there is, and he actually cares, and he's actually a good guy. But he's insane, you know. I met him spray painting on his hands, painting all the way deep in one of the tunnels.
Whoa.
Like just lurking like a frog all the way in those little short tunnels. I come across this dude who had painted his hair and like spikes, and he was just covered in spray paint. His hands covered in spray paint, and he was painting this abstract piece with leftover cans, fucking shooting one up at the same time, fucking and painting on the wall like scribbles.
Jeez.
And this is in the river, and this is like all the way up in the tunnels too. So it was just me and him, like, oh hi, and he's like hi, and I'm like hi, and he's like.
So you've been privy to an unseen, unknown, a forgotten just slice of humanity that resides in the shittiest corners of LA.
Right.
People that are forgotten, people that no one checks on, people that have no access to anything. You're their best friend.
Well, I was at one point. At one point,
it's fucking crazy, dude.
I enjoyed lurking.
It's so crazy.
One of the scariest places I've ever been is the fucking homeless, the bathroom at the Venice Pavilion. Straight up, that was the scariest fucking place I have ever motherfucking been.
It was like you walked into the movie Saw, right? When you walk in one of those bathrooms, you're like, what's going on here?
I walked into a very scary gay section of Saw. That was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was some choking and some punching going on. That was a little frightening for me.
Whoa.
Way out of my league. That was like.
You're a kid. You're like, where are these?
I haven't seen anything like that before.
These men are choke fucking and punching each other.
But they were enjoying it, so it was a little weird to me. I didn't know, and I really had to take a shit. I had nowhere to go. So I had to use the corner at the pavilion.
No. Oh, you shit in the corner of the pavilion?
I've shot in a few corners.
Oh, my God, dude. It's just...
I mean, you have to. There's no way. What are you going to do?
My friend's stepdad got stabbed in the chest in one of those bathrooms as a kid. And he had a scar that was like his whole torso was a huge scar.
Oh, God.
He wandered in one of those bathrooms as a kid and some guy just stabbed him in the chest.
Well, after that, I never went back in there.
Yeah, those bathrooms are crazy.
I've never
used those bathrooms in my entire life.
I was afraid. I was actually afraid.
Yeah, the pavilion was something else, man.
The pavilion was a very frightening place. But to be able to have the confidence to produce a piece and have it stay clean for more than a week already meant you were like in the game.
Well, there was a point where we used to I would paint. There were points in that place where I had like 4 or 5 pieces running. Because I had nothing else. That was my backyard.
Albert dissed a piece with his own shit once. Yeah. Jeez. I watched him do it, and he tagged all over the guy's piece with his own feces.
Finn did that too.
Feces, not species. That's a terrible. That doesn't make any sense. That's species.
What is it with your graffiti writers and shit? And it's just fucking terrible.
It's terrible. It's a terrible thing. It really is.
So much
shit. Albert is a satanic worshiper. So he did a pentagram in his own shit on the guy's piece.
Albert is another sick fuck. I don't know if we should. You think Albert would be good to have on?
Yeah, he got some good stories. He's got some.
He's like a liability. He's like, listen.
He's not though. He's actually like, you should see his hair. He looks clean and nice. He looks good.
Albert's great. I love Albert.
Yeah. And you're catching me at a good point because 2 years ago I was almost dead, like straight up.
Well, I'm glad that you're on the mend.
Sort
of.
I'm better.
I guess I never really understood how intense. Like I've always been aware of your health stuff peripherally and all the things in your life, but I just I'm being refreshed on the Saber, on Saber's life, and it
got bad.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, the seizures wouldn't go away, and I just kept having more and more of these like life-threatening seizures.
Do you think being physically like fitter is helpful?
Absolutely,
it's got to, right?
Yeah, but everything stems from my emotions too. So like,
do you meditate?
I used to, but I do now. I find my place is just being outside with nature in any way, shape, or form, and painting. Yeah, working on shit is meditative. Yeah. But kids have been the ultimate test in life. It's like, what the fuck is really life about?
What's really good?
What
do you? Is there anything that you want to plug before we shut it down here?
Not really. Other than
websites.
I mean, I'm always
future projects.
Well, yeah, fuck.
Buy some Saber art, you guys. He's got. Listen,
I mean, goddamn it, it's never.
We're gonna petition to unpaint the LA River.
Listen, I like to tell stories not about art because I'm so involved in my art that it's so all-consuming that it's better to tell fun stories about homeless shit.
I mean, this has been a blast.
Because we could talk about process, this and that. And,
No one cares about process.
We could talk about some boring ass shit. I got artist statements that are long fucking winded, dude. I want to choke half these fools out. But at this point, I don't even want to have fucking art shows. I'm just like over the whole goddamn thing. But, making art to me is essential. So